Before the idea, there is something else. A desire. A memory. A value. A way of seeing the world. Dracula. You might be familiar with the name. You are probably thinking you know who he is. You don't. Who is Dracula? He is not the count, not the costume, not the monster, nor the mythology you inherited. This Dracula is an artist, a painter, a writer, a designer, a builder of worlds. A man for whom art was never meant to remain inside a frame. Because a painting, a room, a dinner, a book, a building, even the way one chooses to live, can belong to the same work. Dracula is an identity deliberately chosen. He is the one who went to the other side of silence and used it as a lens through which to look back at the world. Not to escape the self, but to discover how completely the self can be authored. His work begins with a question: why? Why do we live as we do? Why do we value what we value? What do we give our attention to? And what might life become if beauty, intelligence, humor, decency, and imagination were treated not as decoration, but as a way of being? These questions became Dracula by Dracula, a philosophical work in which identity, consciousness, death, imagination, God, science, and the absurd meet around the same table. But the book is only one manifestation, because Dracula does not simply write about a world, he is building one. The paintings, the uncommon room, Dracula House, its objects, rituals and houses of the senses, architecture, theater, publishing, education, hospitality, all of them belong to something greater, magnum opus, the great work. Not a collection of separate projects, but one idea taking many forms, the invisible becoming visible, philosophy becoming object, thought becoming architecture, consciousness becoming culture. And at its center stands Dracula, not merely as its founder, but as its first experiment. A life treated as a work of art. The founder need not explain himself. He is explained by the work. Dracula, exceptional living. Dracula House begins with a simple question. Why? Why do we choose what we wear? What we eat? What we touch? What we listen to? What we allow into our minds? Because luxury is not merely a matter of possession. It is a mirror of consciousness. As within, so without. Dracula House was created to elevate the perception of the five senses and the one beyond them. Taste, scent, sight, touch, sound, and the sixth sense. It is not enough to dress beautifully or smell exquisite. Attire and perfume are only the shell. What matters is how we walk, how we speak, what we speak about, what we notice. Not only what we eat, but how we eat, with whom and why. Because attention is currency, and what we give our attention to, we give our life to. That is why Dracula House begins not with products, but with a philosophy of being. The philosophy is the cause. Everything we create is the effect. Objects, clothing, scent, taste, sound, spaces, rituals, all expressions of an inner state made visible. Dracula House is not another luxury brand. It is an invitation to live with greater awareness, greater beauty, and greater intention. Dracula House. Exceptional living. Taste is not merely what we eat or drink. It is how we choose, how we serve, how we receive, how we pay attention. Because refinement begins long before anything reaches the lips. At Dracula House, taste becomes ritual. Food, water, conversation, beauty, restraint, and pleasure brought together with intention. This is not indulgence for its own sake. It is the cultivation of perception. Dracula House of refined taste, exceptional living, and, naturally, bloody good taste. In the heart of Transylvania, the land remembers. From the earth, substance. From the air, spirit. From fire, transformation. From water, life. Earth, air, fire, water, united in one form. Not merely water, an artifact of origin. From a primordial land to the modern table. Dracula House presents Dracula Water. Bloody good water, exceptional living.